It was supposed to be just another quiet Saturday morning. The sun had barely crept over the rooftops when I pulled into Mrs. Parker's driveway, my pressure washer strapped to the back of my pickup. She's 83, a widow who lost her husband last year, and her house had gathered so much grime and mildew you could hardly tell it was once painted white. I offered to clean it up for free. Just a neighbor helping another. I didn't expect to be dodging bullets before noon. As I started spraying the front porch, I spotted the HOA president, Gerald Thomas, storming across the cul-de-sac like he owned the whole street. Gerald's the kind of guy who treats a clipboard like a badge and thinks his laminated HOA ID gives him real power. I nodded politely and kept spraying. He wasn't having it. "You're violating community codes," he barked. "No commercial activity on weekends." I calmly told him I wasn't charging Mrs. Parker a dime. It was just a good deed. But he didn't care. His face turned beet red and he stomped back to his house. Not 10 minutes later, I heard it. The sharp, unmistakable click of a shotgun being racked. I turned and froze. Gerald was standing at the edge of his lawn, gripping a 12-gauge like he was in some kind of war movie. "You're trespassing," he yelled, even though I was clearly on Mrs. Parker's property, and she was waving at me from the window, terrified. I dropped the pressure washer wand and raised my hands, trying to de-escalate, explaining it was a misunderstanding. But he didn't lower the gun. Instead, he fired a shot into the air. The blast echoed down the street like thunder. Doors flew open. Neighbors spilled out with phones already dialing 911. Mrs. Parker collapsed behind the glass in shock. I backed away, heart pounding, barely able to breathe. Minutes later, squad cars came roaring in. Officers swarmed him. Gerald was arrested on the spot. Reckless endangerment, unlawful discharge of a firearm, the whole list. Even as they hauled him away, he kept shouting about protecting property values. Turns out, I wasn't the first person he'd threatened. But I was the last straw. The HOA voted him out the very next week. As for Mrs. Parker's house, it got cleaned twice. First by me, then again by a whole group of neighbors who showed up to repaint it in her favorite color, sky blue.